have it all. I have so much, and it seems like it's too much. I want to talk briefly about the improvements that have been made in the last 3 years, 3+ years, since we've gained a commission majority, a slow growth commission majority. As you can imagine, the 12 years preceding it, we really chewed up and tore up our comprehensive plan and our regulations. And it's difficult, it seems impossible sometimes to get back on track to restore the protections that we relied upon for so many years, but we're making really, really good progress. Our commission majority, Ann Scott, Ed Fielding, and I are making good decisions, solid decisions. We're putting the county's needs before wants. I think that we're acting as true public servants. I want to briefly talk about our river challenges. If you've been here since 1998, I expect that we're going to have a year that's going to be as devastating to our river as 1998 was, just because of the torrent of discharges that started so early this year. It's nearly unprecedented. And then in 1998 we had a dry spell too. Remember, we had a dry summer until the end of the summer, and then we just got blasts of rain again. So we probably are going to have the worst summer that most of us can remember. Right now there are no oysters that are alive in the river. The good news is that the state government and the federal government are cooperating more than I've ever seen them. As much as we would like to demonize both our partners for the lousy job that they're doing, they're not. They're really doing a lot more than they have in the past. The federal government is using, well, and both the federal government and the state government are using capacity down south that we have never used before. So it seems like a drop in the bucket, but every bit helps when you're killing your resources. So we are making progress, and I suspect that if this year is as horrible as I think that it may be, I think that our recalcitrant legislature is going to be forced to make some purchases that they're reluctant to make right now in order to start to make things right for our rivers. All Aboard Florida, we're continuing the fight against All Aboard Florida. It's an uphill battle, but as our attorney reminds us, they have to win every challenge. We have to win only one, and that's so. I'm hopeful. I'm not at all discouraged about going up against this giant. I'm hopeful, and I believe that we can and will win. Our comprehensive plan, I thought that we had hacked up the comprehensive plan so much in the 12 years of the pro-growth majority that we couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. I just didn't think that you could amend such horrors and make it palatable and protective again. But Maggie proved that I was wrong, that I was too skeptical. We made some marvelous changes to the comprehensive plan, and now have a whole lot of the protections that we've grown to rely upon in the last 30 years back in the comprehensive plan. Our changes are still, two changes are still under challenge. One challenger has not gone away, and we have to go to Tallahassee. The cabinet is going to be the final decision maker about settling this remaining challenge. And the cabinet consists of the governor, Adam Putnam, Jeff Atwater, and Attorney General Pam Bondi. And
good luck with that.
Luck will help. So Ann Scott is going to go up to Tallahassee with our county attorney April 20-something. Okay, April 5th. And render, get a decision, 25th, and get a decision rendered by the cabinet about that remaining challenge. One of the key things that we did in the comprehensive plan changes was we restored the protections for the pillars in the comprehensive plan, and very, very importantly, We are using science and math-based requirements for expanding our urban service boundary. Otherwise, a future bad majority, and this is how it will happen, will be directed into a new town by special interests. If we don't have math and science-based requirements in there, that's how we're going to direct policy. By the way, the remaining challenger is Coventry. Coventry has not gone away. That's Hope Grove. There are at least 2 high-level Coventry full-time employees in Martin County. They came to see me. They're seeing others. They've not gone away. They said that they could hang on to this horrible investment for a long time, that they were in no hurry to develop it. That's not true. They made one poor decision and by overpaying for that property in the first place, but they are here, and I can promise you they will be trying to influence the outcome of the 2016 election. They are looking for a development-friendly commission majority so that they can put a new town on their property. One of the hangovers that we're dealing with from 12 years of pro-growth majority is we had such weak contract writing for the county. We wrote so many contracts that were unfavorable to the county and very favorable to the special interests with whom we engaged in that contracting with. And I'm happy to say that our contracting has gotten to be much, much tighter and more protective of residents and our resources. A good example is the Business Development Board contract. That contract our contribution to it has been reduced by 2/3. We are holding the Business Development Board more accountable. Their contract is up this September. We will see if it renews, but at any rate, our contracting, which is so important to all of us, is improving dramatically. I thought that we put the customs facility behind us. We voted to put the customs facility behind us. But apparently there are still 2 commissioners who are very eager to revive that. When we first contemplated the customs facility, the consultants who were hired to do the background work were so lousy. They gave us such lousy information. The airplanes that they used in order to base their conclusions, and then the airplane users and the boat users, the whole thing was, the figures were so phony. It was just ridiculous. But apparently 2 commissioners would like to revive that, and certainly if we lose our commission majority, we can look to seeing the customs facility proposal brought before us again. We are in negotiations with the Fire Rescue Union. Their contract is expired. We weren't able to reach a settlement for their contract. We are at impasse right now, and you've seen either via email or ads in the Stuart News or elsewhere, you've seen some accusations from the Fire Rescue Union that there are vacancies out the wazoo, that our level of service is decreasing. They're telling patients on the way in their ambulances, boy, you're lucky this time that we were able to get to you, because this commission majority stays with us for much longer. I don't know if there's going to be an ambulance to come pick you up. Making all kinds of threats that are extremely harmful. It's because they're negotiating a contract. It's unworthy, but it's not uncommon for a union to use these kinds of tactics in order to create a favorable atmosphere for their contract negotiations. By the way, the union dues they're collecting are $300,000 a year, and they're going to use every penny of that in order to create a negative PR campaign attacking the county for being non-responsive and getting rid of safety. And we evaluated their opener, and it included a $3.5 million increase in pay for them. So beware, our vacancy rate is not, it's consistent with what it's been for a long time. We have 8 vacancies, and we opened up applications, and we received 175 applications to fill those 8 vacancies. So our level of service is strong. They're saying that their that their pay is not commensurate with other communities around here. That's not true. Their pay is. So we just be prepared for an onslaught of misinformation. We will have to strengthen our planned unit development standards. There are 2 ways that you can that are available for zoning. One is through straight zoning, and we foul that up also. And then there's planned unit development, and that's a negotiation between the applicant, the developer, and Martin County. And Martin County gives concessions to the developer in order for benefits to the county. When the boom was on, we used boilerplate standards, which we didn't receive nearly the benefits that we should have. We gave away the store, and we really, really need to recreate those vigorous, rigorous standards in order to make sure that when we get development, it's good development. We approved a plat within the last couple months, and I'm not kidding you, the lot sizes were 11 feet wide. And I said, you know, I think Chicago's, and they're hardly the standard, I think Chicago's minimum standards are 15 or 17. So we need to do some work to get our minimum standards up to a tolerable level. We also have, since February of 2013, hired a very, very talented legal staff, which is really good. We can't keep people from suing us. 2 of our biggest legal challenges are from the same billionaire who he can't possibly blow through his money in his lifetime or his children's lifetime. We can't keep people like that from suing us. So we need to defend ourselves, and we certainly don't want to be hiring outside counsel at $300 an hour. So we've hired in-house counsel, and we've really hired talented people. You should be very proud of our county attorney's office. I know I am. I met with the owner of the property where the truck stop was proposed. And a week after that, we created minimum standards for truck stops to make it difficult for a truck stop to come here. But at any rate, I met with the owner of that property this week, and he has a new plat for that property, and I think it's about 12 acres, and he's dividing it. He's subdividing it into the biggest, I have the plat with me if anybody wants to see it. The biggest lot is 2.55 acres. The smallest is 0.85. They're generally between 1 and 1.5 acres. I think that will give us a much less dense development on that site. I think it's a really good move in the right direction in order to protect those people. It's hopefully this will gain approval. And lastly, the Langford Landing that Ginny and Maggie both alluded to is a travesty. It was one of our legacy pieces of Florida, and it was a source of beauty and pride for Frances Langford, who was so generous to our community. And I voted against the project, so I have a clear conscience. But it just is awful. You can't believe. I've seen it from the air. I've seen it on the ground. They clear cut the whole thing. Now I can't believe that this is possible. There's a dune there, and we all know that dunes, or if you mess with dunes, there are going to be environmental consequences. That's why we don't allow you to build on the dune line on the ocean. They're tearing down the dune in order to make buildable lots. And I've asked, good heavens, we allow that? Apparently we do, or we don't prohibit it. So I've asked that we have a new tree ordinance, which we've needed for a long time, and a new topographical ordinance so that we can't tear down our ridges. We have some of the highest ridges in Martin County that are in the state, and we're tearing down one of them in order to accommodate 6 buildable lots or something like that. I'm happy to answer questions later. Thanks.